Okay, now that we have, conceptually and intuitively derived the formula for acceleration by its definition, that it is the rate of change of velocity, now we can actually find the acceleration of anything, given that we know how the velocity of that thing changes in a given interval of time. So, for example, in this case that we have drawn here, let's actually calculate the acceleration of all both of the scenarios, and let's see what is the exact acceleration, right? So in this case, the acceleration is going to be equal to the change in velocity, and of course, always the change in velocity is the final value of velocity minus the initial value of velocity, and in this case, it is going to be Vf minus Vi. We can just write it like that, and then the change in time, which is t, and then Vf is 6, Vi, which is initial velocity, is 2, and then divided by time, which is also 2. So which gives us 4 by 2, that is equal to 2, and then the unit would be meters per second squared. Why do we have this unit? Because it is the rate in change in velocity, right? So the unit for velocity is meters per second, and the unit for time is second. So the unit for acceleration should be meters per second, which could also be written as meters per second squared. There are a couple of seconds which will, eventually multiply, and then you can just solve them, and it will be meter per second square. So what basically happens is that meter per second divided by a second, and whenever we convert the sign of division to multiplication, we reciprocate the other term, and it becomes m over s square. So meter per second square is the unit for acceleration. I hope that makes sense to you. So the acceleration of this green car is 2 meters per second square. Let's calculate the acceleration of this yellow car. In this case, acceleration is going to be equal to Vf minus Vi. Final velocity is 4 meters per second, initial velocity is 2 meters per second, and the time it took to reach that acceleration is 2 seconds. So it is going to be 2 by 2, which is equal to 1 meters per second square. So we can see that the green car accelerated twice as much the yellow car. So that's how we can use the formula for acceleration and calculate the accelerations of various objects, given that we know the initial and the final velocity of that thing and the time that it took to actually achieve that acceleration.